Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another TheeSportsScoop mock draft. I'm not sure which one this is. I believe this is 7.0, 8.0. I'm not sure, but we're going to be going over all 32 first-round picks, and you have three hosts this time. Kian McDermott. Above me is Suraj Kadali. Below me is Dylan Shalom, and we'll be switching off picks, going over each one. Make sure you guys follow us on social media. Stay tuned, subscribe. A ton of big board content's coming out, rankings, everything that we did last year, and then obviously our draft live stream, which will be fantastic when the draft comes around. Also, I just want to remind you guys, if you did not know already, on Sunday, February 27th, so this upcoming Sunday, we will be going live doing an NFL Q&A, free agency talk, and some draft talk. So just come in the chat and comment and we respond. It's basically just talking about the NFL. It's a ton of fun. So make sure you guys tune in for that on Sunday, probably mid to late midday evening around then. But if you guys want to know when it's happening, make sure you subscribe and follow us on social media. But on the clock, number one is the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Suraj Kadali, you are up first.
Yep. And I know this actually probably is for some reason now controversial, but I'm going to go with Kvon Thibodeaux out of Oregon. And a lot of people have him falling very far, but for me, I think he's the best player in this class. I mean, maybe Kyle Hamilton, but I'm talking about in terms of value as well. I think what Thibodeaux really provides is that he provides great speed, great agility, great bend off the edge, good hand move placement. And I think honestly, I think with Jacksonville, obviously, maybe it doesn't correspond the best with your needs, the board, at least, because obviously I think they need offensive line more. But I don't think Evan Neal or Ikem Ekwonu are worth the first overall pick. And I think Thibodeaux is. And obviously, when you're a team like Jacksonville, which does have many different needs, I think you got to go with the best player available. Obviously, they do have Josh Allen, but Kayvon Chason was a waste of a pick. It just has not worked out. So I think Thibodeaux makes sense here, given that he is the best player available. And I think he's someone who at least can make the Jacksonville defense a lot closer to being competent.
Yeah, I like the pick. I think it definitely comes down to if you like Hutchinson or Thibodeaux. And honestly, as weird as it sounds, I'm not sure if one of you said this, but Hutchinson just doesn't seem like he would fit in Florida.
I don't think I said that, but I definitely agree with it.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I don't think that'll matter to the team. But I am up at number 2 here with the Detroit Lions. I'm going to go the other edge. I'm going to go Aiden Hutchinson out of Michigan. Again, just absolute game breaker. A guy who, if he can pan out as he did, he will be a fantastic edge rusher in this league. He's just very good. I mean, there's not much to say. The traits he has to be able to bull rush, his ability to just use sheer power and push over offensive linemen is again, he's definitely not a prospect we've never seen before, but he's very much like the dominant edges that have come out, like the Chase Youngs, like the Nick Bosa's, the guys like that. He's kind of that kind of edge. And I think he'll be fantastic in the league. And again, stays in Michigan, stays in the cold weather. Well, I guess he's playing in a dome, but
still
know
cold.
what I mean.
You know what I mean?
Still cold.
It's still like,
well, but I'm gonna go Aiden Hutchinson there again. Not a very interesting pick per se. But Dylan, you're on the board here with the Texans.
And now we stand at the 3rd overall pick with the guy number 1 ranked will still not be pulled off the board. And I'm going to be going with a pick that's caused a lot of controversy in our comment sections over the course of these mock drafts. Yeah, excuse that. But I'm going to be going with Kyle Hamilton. And in my opinion, he is the most versatile defensive player we've seen coming out of college since I've started following the draft. And he's someone that you can plug and play. He's someone that you can see be one of the best safeties in the league within the next 2 years. So it's someone that's already going to come into the league elite. He has the frame needed to play anywhere on defense other than DT. I think he's pretty much ready to do anything. Kyle Hamilton is pretty easy pick for me.
Yeah, I think Hamilton it is a risky pick given that obviously safety at 3 is extremely high. But that being said, I think he provides so much on the defense. He can play as like a will linebacker. He can play slot corner, obviously just as a 2 high shell. He can play in the box. He's very versatile. And I think overall for a team like Houston, again, a lot of needs on that team. I think Hamilton does make sense in terms of just pure talent.
I love Kyle. Again, my whole thing with Hamilton, I think he's the most talented player in this draft. Like we've said, I think he's Micah Parsons, but on the back end, like literally can play any position. Definitely not defined as either a strong or free safety, although I think free safety would make more sense, just his ability to kind of roam around. He can play. If this guy put on pounds and was, moved to a linebacker, he would be fantastic. He can, again, literally can do anything besides and he can blitz down the middle like a defensive tackle. Like he's that good.
He's not that big though. He's
Well,
not
not
that
that big,
big.
but I'm not saying line up as a defensive tackle like a 3 tech, but be able to get through.
Yeah.
But up now is Surge.
Yep,
You're up here with your Jets.
I know. I think the Jets I think it's an interesting position to be in because I think if I was the Jets GM, I would trade down here because I don't necessarily love the board, but I think for me, I think obviously there are no trades, so you got to make a pick here. And what I'm thinking is that Morgan Moses, our right tackle, is likely going to leave in free agency, and George Fant, our left tackle, is likely also going to move on a year from now. And Mekhi Becton has obviously had some concerns about injuries and his weight, and it's all kind of been a bit so for the Jets. So I think right now I would go with Ika Mekwonu from NC State over Evan Neal. And the reason for that is I think that Ika Mekwonu really provides kind of that scheme versatility that Evan Neal does not, because Evan Neal is more just pure power at the point of attack. And Ika Mekwonu instead is kind of a bit more scheme versatile. He can play in this zone system that I almost said Mike McDaniel. I mean Mike LaFleur kind of implements here in New York. And I think I've heard some rumblings that really the Jets are very impressed with Ika Mekwonu and do want to make him as the selection at 4th overall, which as a Jets fan, I would be pretty happy with. And I think, again, may also one of the great things about Ekwonu is that obviously Fant was very good this season and Becton was good in his rookie season. So maybe you want to play them at the tackles. That's okay. You can play Ika Mekwonu at right guard, which is another position that the Jets really need. So I think he provides great versatility, great scheme versatility, and he's just overall a really good player. So I got to go with Ekwonu at 4.
Yeah, again, will revolutionize that Jets run game. Fantastic at the second level. But now I'm here with the Giants. I'm going to go the other offensive tackle and who they have as the number 1 prospect in the draft. That's Evan Neal. And again, a guy who a lot of people no one dislikes him and will make him fall, but a lot of people will take Ika Mekwonu ahead of him, will not take him at number 1. I think this guy, in my opinion, will be the number 1 overall pick. But I think this guy is just, he's like the Mekhi Becton, but, more polished, I mean, coming out of college, he's just gigantic.
He's ferocious.
Ferocious. And him and Ika Mekwonu are very similar like that. He's just bigger. Again, injuries are a big problem. I think, Dylan definitely a advocate for size and you definitely get injured a lot more. So I think for the Jets, it's more of a safety to go Mekwonu, although he's fantastic because, Becton's going to get injured again. The thing is Ekwonu's smaller, so hopefully he doesn't. I don't think he's had injury problems in college. To be fair, I don't think Evan Neal has either. But again, the NFL is definitely a whole different kind of game. But, if we want Saquon and Daniel Jones to succeed, why not put a 6'7" monster, 360-pound monster ahead of him and hope he can be good. But I'm gonna go for Evan Neal here. Dylan, you're now on the board. You have a lot of the quarterback potential picks up here with the Panthers.
I'm not going to use them.
I'm Dylan. I'm just gonna say this to everyone. So we recorded this 2 seconds ago. We messed up, so we're re-recording it. He had Derek Stingley. Does it change?
It does not.
Okay.
I'm going to continue to advocate for taking Derek Stingley at 6. And I know you're looking at that needs list and it's so far down, but that doesn't take into the account that Dante Jackson's most likely gone. Stephon Gilmore's most likely gone. JC Horn's still coming back from injury. You put Derek Stingley on one side, JC Horn on the other, both healthy. That's pretty much impossible to pass against. And what I've learned recently and what I've learned over the course of the last couple seasons in the NFL is that having an elite corner, it might not shut down everything, but it certainly makes it a lot easier to defend and pass rush. So you don't need to go in and take that George Karlaftis, Jermaine Johnson, if you're already going to have some elite cornerback play that's going to make it easier for your lesser edge rushers to get to the quarterback. As far as quarterback goes, you have the 6th overall pick in this draft. It is a lot about value. If you want to trade down for a quarterback, you might as well do that, but none of these guys are worth taking at 6. Offensive tackle, I'm not a massive fan of Charles Cross. He's a very, very good pass blocker, but having CMC in the team, having a lot of outside runs, I'm not sold on his run blocking.
I think though, I think Cross would actually be a great fit though for Carolina because of the fact that I think he's going to be operating similar to where he was in Mississippi State, where he's operating mostly in the shotgun. And McCaffrey, he's a great running back, but he's also a huge threat out of the passing game, which is again, I think something that Carolina will utilize heavily. And I think he will. Obviously, he might not be great at run blocking, but I think you can deal with that considering how good of a pass blocker he will be, especially in pass sets that Carolina will use. But I think
Yeah,
Singleton isn't
Charles Cross
necessarily
will
a
be
bad pick.
taken for his pass blocking. He's the best pass blocker
Yeah,
in this
second
class.
in my opinion. I still think Evan Neal's a better pass blocker than him.
Yeah, but he's
But-
very inconsistent. He'll either pancake you or it's, speed just gets past him. I think Charles Cross, his ability to, you kind of look at his tape, his ability to just stay upright and kind of gain ground on defensive linemen is very impressive. But
No,
Surge,
he's a good player. I'm not completely sold on him to Carolina though.
Surge, you're up now at number 7 with my Giants.
Yep.
Are you gonna
Number 7 with the Giants? I'm going to go with Tyler Linderbaum from Iowa, and I think with the Giants, obviously they already did take Evan Neal, but I think the Giants are one of the teams that especially need to kind of improve at the offensive line. And Joe Schoen, Brian Dable, they've already talked about kind of how they want to kind of give Daniel Jones a chance to succeed, a chance that really they feel like he wasn't given. I think the best way to do that is, again, just completely revamp this offensive line, improve it. And I think you're doing that by getting arguably the best tackle in this class and definitely the best center in this class, the best center in recent memory. So I think this, again, maybe a bit high for center, but I think it is worth it. And I think Linderbaum could seriously have a huge impact on Daniel Jones's development. And we saw with Kansas City what happens when you draft a center and it goes well. Creed Humphrey has been one of the best in the league. So I think Linderbaum I think it's good. I think it's actually decent value here. And I think obviously it fills the need.
I think out of all the players, and I think excluding Kyle Hamilton, I think Linderbaum's like a lock to be good. Yeah. Like, I know you can't say that for anyone, but I think he is a lock to be a good NFL
I would say
player.
Aiden Hutchinson as well.
Hutchinson, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
All right. I am now up with the Atlanta Falcons. Speaking about Aiden Hutchinson and Michigan edge rushers, I'm going to have them go with David Ojabo out of Michigan. Again, like we said in the last time we recorded this, it's very, very uncommon to have two players, first of all, from the same team or from the same college. I guess unless you're Alabama getting taken in the top 10, but 2 players from the same team, you're Michigan
Same
and
position.
their edge rushers.
Exactly.
It's not very common. Kind of just shows how dominant that position group was for Michigan this year. Big fan of David Ojabo. Again, kind of more of that finesse rusher, but still, holds a ton of power at the point of attack. And again, kind of a lengthy guy, someone who can get around offensive tackles. And I think with the Falcons cutting Dante Fowler, they are in need of a edge rusher. I think Ojabo fills that need perfectly. Me and Dylan were joking about what if they went and got Ahmad Garner, and then that division has 2 of the scariest young cornerback duos with Stingley and Horn, and then Terrell and Gardner. But I'm not going to have that, so we'll just go Ojabo here. But Dylan, you're back in the war with another QB needy team, and that is the Denver Broncos.
I am going to bite and take a quarterback here, although I don't believe really heavily in any of these guys. But I am going to take Kenny Pickett here as he's the most NFL ready. This is a team that's ready to contend for a wild card spot this season. Kenny Pickett puts them in the best position to do so. There's no other position that I can realistically look at to strengthen their team any more than it already is strengthened. You could look at Corral, but he's much more suited for an RPO system than Denver has. And then Malik Willis, I was very, very high on him at the start of the draft process, but now that I'm really looking into it, pretty much opposite to the massive draft content creators, I'm not as high on him now because I looked into it. He hasn't really played against the teams that are NFL caliber. I don't think he has played against one yet. And when he played against Ole Miss, he kind of got destroyed. I have no other real way to say this. Not trying to compare Pickett to Malik Willis too much, just laying it out there. Kenny Pickett's the best option for them here.
Yeah, I think he's the type of guy that will succeed from the jump because of the fact that he has great anticipation on his throws. He is got very good mobility mobility, which will definitely help. And again, he's going to be surrounded by a lot of weapons in the passing game and the running game. He's got Sutton, he's got Judy, he's got Noah Fant, he's got Tim Patrick, and he's got Javonte Williams. I don't know if Melvin Gordon is a free agent, but he
is a free agent. I can't see him coming back.
Yeah. So, but there's still a lot of weapons though for Denver, and I think Pickett again, just the safest option. I think he is the most likely to be a solid NFL quarterback in this league.
All right.
And now we're gonna go on to And now we're gonna go on to the 10th pick. You got the New York Jets. Man, I think this is a tough one. I'm gonna go George Karlaftis, and he's far down the board. He is at 27, and I think I think it's a bit harsh because I think he definitely is not that much worse than Jermaine Johnson, Trayvon Walker. I think he's better. And I think more importantly, I think he's the perfect fit really for the New York Jets system because of the fact that he is kind of going to be the antithesis to Carl Lawson's great speed and agility off the edge. He's just that power rusher. And I think I've seen that one of his pro comps is Nick Bosa because, again, similar hand placement and obviously power. And Robert Saleh, he has experience dealing with a rookie edge rusher similar to Nick Bosa. And I'm not saying he will be Nick Bosa, but I think he is that type of guy who really can be molded into an immediate contributor on this team. And I think 27 is too far. And I think obviously if you don't have like that kind of guy who is speed, has speed off the edge, and obviously he has to do it by himself, I think it is obviously a much more difficult position to be in. But I think it's a 4-3 system, which I think he has to be in. And he's got a great complementary piece. So I think Karlaftis makes sense here at 10.
Yeah, I my only thing, I think why he has fallen is even compared to Johnson and Trayvon Walker, he just lacks a, good, like he lacks athleticism, which is why he's not one of those top guys. But it's a very good edge class. I do like Karlaftis.
Yeah.
But I am now up with another QB team, and that is the Washington football team. So I had them. When we did our QB roulette like a couple hours ago, who did I have them go with? I had them go. Kenny Pickett. Right. So I am gonna we're gonna peruse the quarterbacks, and I think Malik Willis will be who I actually end up going with. I think, like I said, I had the Panthers taking Malik Willis, obviously, but my only thing is that when I see the Panthers taking Malik Willis, I don't love the coaching, and he is someone who needs to be coached very well. That being said, I am a huge fan of Ron Rivera. I think he'll be able to coach Malik Willis very well, and he just adds a ton of energy to this offense. Obviously, as well, big fan of Terry McLaurin. I think he finally deserves a good quarterback, and that duo would just be fantastic. You have a very good running back in Antonio Gibson who you can give the ball to. So I'm a big fan of the Malik Willis pick here. But Dylan, now you're up with the Vikings.
Yeah, this is a tough one because there are a lot of options that they can go through. Offense is I don't want to go offense here because they've got great receivers. They've got Dalvin Cook. Kirk Cousins looks to be staying put, and they just drafted Christian Darrisaw as a tackle, Ezra Cleveland as a guard. Can't really see them going in the offensive section. That leaves Charles Cross on the board again. And I can't see them going corner because they've gone corner in the draft. They've taken Dantzler. They've taken Gladney. They've failed over and over again there. I can't see them going that way again. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm actually going to end up taking Nakobe Dean here for the Minnesota Vikings. And you pair him up in a 2 middle linebacker set with Eric Kendricks. And I think you have a very, very good linebacking core. Anthony
Barr.
I'll be
honest, Dylan, this is why you get dislikes on your mocks.
Oh damn! But
that was a bad pick.
I don't agree with it. I think it was a good pick. It's a controversial pick, but I don't really see where else they go here. Anthony Barr is on his way out. Eric Kendricks and Nakobe Dean put together in the middle of the field. Nakobe Dean's probably the most pro-ready linebacker in the class. I think he works really well. He was excellent in the college football playoffs. And I think he works out well for them, whereas maybe I'd trade down. But in this case, I'm going with him.
I think my problem with that really is that how you talk about how they have linebackers on the way out. They have no cornerbacks. I mean,
they're
going to address that in free agency.
Old Patrick Peterson was their best option.
They've missed in the draft every time. They're not going to fall for it again.
But it's different when you have Ahmad Gardner though instead of Jeff Gladney
or Dantzler, who's taken in like the 3rd round.
Dantzler was taken 1st round.
No, he wasn't.
Dantzler's not taken 1st round.
I believe he was.
No, he was not.
Let me look into that now.
He was not. But Surridge, you are now up with the Cleveland Browns.
The Cleveland Browns
are adding more talent to this roster.
Yeah, I think this team is really close to putting it all together. I think they need, though, a bit more help at the skill position. So I'm going to go with my wide receiver 1, Treylon Burks out of Arkansas. And the reason for this is that I think Burks is kind of, again, the prototypical modern day receiver. He's got He can play in multiple sets. He obviously can play out wide, but he can also play in the slot. He can play in the backfield at times. He's got great speed. I think he's like 4.4, below 4.4. I'm not 100% sure about that. And he's got decent hands as well. He's got big hands. He's great at contested catches. And I think he's kind of, obviously I'm not saying he's going to be as good as this because this is a very lofty comparison, but he's kind of like Deebo Samuel in his kind of ability to be versatile. Like he's very versatile. He can play multiple sets. And I think to have someone who not only could be that, but also is so big, I think that is so important for a Cleveland team whose best receiver was either Jarvis Landry, who really struggled, or Donovan Peoples-Jones. So I think
they definitely need to go receiver here.
Definitely needed kind of a true receiver for Baker Mayfield, who was going to get healthy next season. So I think here Treylon Burks kind of gives Cleveland a chance to kind of make some noise. Who knows? Maybe even make a run at the AFC North. But that's my pick here.
All right, I'm up with the Ravens here. So both teams had inside defensive line needs. So we'll look at that on the board. Obviously not great. Devontae Wyatt, now both Georgia player. Again, it's defensive. You get 2 Michigan edges, now 2 defensive linemen. And I'm not actually completely opposed to taking Devontae Wyatt, but I think corner is a need here. And I think this would just be like, for lack of a better word, just gross to have Ahmad Gardner on that team in that purple jersey. Like, I just think it would be great. Obviously Marlon Humphrey, he tore his ACL, right? Am I wrong? Yeah. And again,
He didn't tore his ACL. He tore his pec.
Or pec, sorry.
That's right.
So he'll be
but I still think corner's in need. Again, definitely more of a hot take pick, but I really like Ahmad Gardner, and him falling for me below 10.
We talk about great cornerback duos, Ahmad Gardner and Marlon Humphrey. That's one of the best. I think that arguably is the best in the league.
Yeah.
If Ahmad Gardner is like even somewhat of what he's expected to be.
Again, just Ahmad Gardner, although he is very, very, not very underweight now. I believe he hit 200, but he's 6'3".
He's pretty big though.
He's 6'2". And again, corners can be more slim, and he definitely can tackle. Again, Ahmad Gardner is one of my favorite players in this draft. The Ravens go get him here. I think he's just a perfect Raven. Like, I don't know how to explain. I don't know if you guys agree with that. I just think he's a perfect Raven.
He does fit that.
Yeah.
But that's a pick that you just stole from me. And I can't say I'm happy, but I'm actually going to go to the next cornerback down. And for me, that's Trent McDuffie here.
Okay.
I really, really like Andrew Booth. Don't get me wrong. I think he's the most athletic out of the cornerbacks in the class. He's so quick. And his ball skills are probably better than Stingley and Ahmad Gardner. But I think McDuffie has a better contrast with Darius Slay for the Eagles, so that'll work better in the secondary that they play. He's much less prone to flags, whereas you see a lot of that out of Slay, and you do see a lot of that out of Andrew Booth as well. I think McDuffie and McCreary, both of them would be better picks here. McDuffie's the one I went with, kind of a panic pick after taking Gardner right there, but it's the guy I'm going to take here.
Yeah, I think McDuffie, I prefer Booth because, again, he's just his pure athleticism and ability there. But I think McDuffie, he did a great job at Washington, kind of just took away his half of the field. And I think it makes sense for Philly. They are aging at cornerback, and I think they did need to address that. So I think it's a solid pick there. And now, again, the Eagles, I'm making this pick. I'm going to go Jermaine Johnson. Why not take
Booth?
Yeah, but you could.
I'm going to go Jermaine Johnson out of Florida State. I think he's decently athletic. He really had a great Senior Bowl, which kind of saw him rise up into that top 15 tier, when before some people were saying, is he even a first rounder? But now he's definitely a first rounder. And I think 16 the Eagles, I think that's decent value for him. What I think he is, because we don't want to overhype him too much, but I think he's a great player. I think this is good value for him. The Eagles, obviously, they're losing Derek Barnett in free agency. Brandon Graham is coming off a torn Achilles. They definitely do need help on the defensive line, given that also Fletcher Cox is aging. So I think Jermaine Johnson really helps address that there.
Yeah. I like the pick. I do like Jermaine Johnson. Again, I'm very skeptical with players who rise into the top 10 that quick.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's the same with Trayvon Walker for me.
Yeah, Trayvon Walker as well, but both Senior Bowl guys. But still, huge fan of Jermaine Johnson. Now I think the Chargers, it might not be. Oh, this is a tough one, actually.
It's hard not to address defense for them.
It is, and I think it's a very good board. You have Booth, Penning, and Cross, who I'm between. I'm gonna go for Trevor Penning.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. I don't agree, but I respect it.
I really do like Charles Cross, and I think him almost falling to 20 is criminal. But I think Rashawn Slater is that kind of Charles Cross. It's kind of the same with the Jets. Like, you could go Evan Neal, but then Mekhi Becton and Evan Neal are really similar. Getting two kind of different tackles. Penning is gigantic. And I think having him and then the Rashawn Slater, who stays healthy. And again, I know drafting a O-lineman, Penning could stay healthy, but he's just, first of all of the offensive linemen, defensive linemen are just dogs and aggressive and get in your face. You look at Trevor Penning in the Senior Bowl, he was getting in fights with players every single snap.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
he was shoving them, hitting them again, falling on them. And I just love that. I think he's a very, very good. And again, coming out of Northern Iowa, one of those guys was like, is he really all that? And then played great in the Senior Bowl. So I think having Slater as that more kind of smaller all around guy, and then Penning as that powerful, run blocking guy, I think would be fantastic for the Chargers. And again, I really like Andrew Booth. I really like Charles Cross, but I'm kind of going out of the ordinary here. And now we have the Saints on the board. Where could we see another receiver? And this is a team with
a lot of needs. And this is very interesting because before you took Penning, he was on my list. Charles Cross was on my list. Matt Corral was on my list. And all the receivers that are still open were on my list. And now taking Penning away does take that dimension away. You need to replace Teron Armstead. They're not going to be able to bring him back this free agency, which is why Charles Cross is going to be the pick that I go with. It's the best pick. It's the best pick to protect Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston or whoever they end up with that quarterback. And he is the best player on the board with it for a team that just really, really needs talent. So I was tempted to take Drake London. I was tempted to take Chris Olave, but I ended up going with Charles Cross for this one.
All right.
Yeah. I like that. I think it's an absolute steal.
Yeah,
really,
I think it's definitely not the flashy pick. I would have liked to see like a Garrett Wilson or Drake London, but I completely forgot kind of now this offensive line is starting to. But again, Dylan, every other piece of that offensive line is great besides when they lose Armstead. So I don't think it's a.
But Teron Armstead's going to be the blindside blocker. They need to replace him.
I think it's not the word. I'm okay with that pick. Now you have the Eagles at 19. They have a couple of needs. I think they could definitely go wide receiver here. They could, because I think they have Devontae Smith. They don't really have a great option opposite him. I think, again, unless you consider Quez Watkins and a viable number 2, which I don't think he is, you could go linebacker. The Eagles have notoriously neglected an off-ball linebacker for a while now, but I think this is a very deep linebacking class. I think linebacker is one of its this draft class's biggest strengths. So I think you can wait for that too. I think the biggest concern, if I'm Philly, is that Brandon Brooks retired. I think Jason Kelce might not be back. So I think they need to go interior offensive line. I'm going to go with Kenyon Green out of Texas A&M.
Okay, yeah. I completely forgot about Kenyon Green. And Zion Johnson is now 20.
Zion Johnson also, but I think I like Kenyon Green because I think great zone blocker, and I think he would really help kind of in a run first offense with Jalen Hurts and whoever the Philadelphia running backs are, just rotating every week. And I think, again, Howie Roseman's mentality is always to make sure you win in the trenches, win at offensive line. I think with like the stalwarts like Brooks and Kelce likely being gone, I think you need to kind of rebuild, kind of revamp it immediately. And I think, especially with 3 first-round picks, it's hard not to address it with at least one. I think that's where Kenyon Green comes in here.
I like it a lot, Serge. I think if the Eagles have a lot, but I mean, these 3 picks is like their future. Like they need to nail all 3. And I think if they come out of this with some good like address offensive line edge corner, I think they'll be set. I'm here with the Steelers. I think they're definitely a little bit mad that some of the quarterbacks have been taken. Ooh, I'm gonna go Matt. I'm gonna go Matt Corral. As much as I hate Howell, I've started to kind of come around a little. But I think I really like Corral. I think Corral hasn't been talked about really since the season's ended.
He hasn't. I think he was one of the few quarterbacks that didn't go to the Senior Bowl.
Yeah. Which whether that helps him or hurts him. But I really do like.
Probably hurts.
Yeah. Sorry, definitely does hurt. Kean just spacing out there, my fault. But I really like Corral. Again, someone who the size is always a question. And as much as people are like, well, what about Kyler Murray? Kyler Murray hasn't 100% shown he can be great.
Yeah, he's shown the failures that come with being small.
and also the successes that come with being small and being fast. But Corral, I think, possesses that arm that a lot of people don't at that size. And I don't think he's that small. I think he's 6'1". So, people think I'm tall and I'm around that height. So that can be,
it's NFL though.
It's so funny because like that height is like, that's tall. Like, but it's so weird that now when we say 6'1", you're like, oh man, that's like short. He's short. But that's going to be my pick there. Again, the Steelers brought in Flores. They have Mike Tomlin. I think it's a great coaching staff. And I think Corral will be able to benefit off a good defense and a receiving core that definitely, it's so funny because when we did our quarterback roulette, none of the quarterbacks went to these teams.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm going with here.
Yeah, moving into the next one, and this is the Patriots. We just touched on J.C. Jackson yesterday. There's a linebacking need. Devin Lloyd is on the board. But I'm going to go with Andrew Booth, and he's pretty much a recreation of J.C. Jackson in a way because he's got tremendous ball skills. He's very good at shutting other guys down. He's pretty well-rounded, athletic. Flags are an issue. Size is an issue for him. But I'm very excited to see what would happen. I mean, not really excited as a Dolphins fan, but if he were to end up as a New England Patriot, I am sure they would not skip a beat losing J.C. Jackson. I think it works out perfectly for them.
Yeah, I think Booth falling to 21 would be kind of Belichick's dream there. And I think, and again, great value there.
I would have. We did the JC Jackson video. Why are you not? Sorry, excuse me, Serge. I've been interrupting. I'm not.
No, it's all good. Go ahead.
Oh my God, why are you not resigning JC Jackson? And they'll just get Andrew Booth, and he'll just. I can tell if they get Andrew Booth, he's going to be great. Like that.
He will. Be.
All right, Serge, you're up.
Yep, I have the Raiders now at 22. There are a multitude of options here. I'm tempted to go receiver because I think they do need a receiver, but they definitely need help on interior defensive line and interior offensive line. This is
it's a tough one. This is a tough one.
This is a tough position, but I think they might also address wide receiver and free agency. So I am going to go with I'm going to go interior defensive line. I'm trying to think of which one though.
Yeah,
there are good options.
The Georgia one or the other Georgia one.
Or Perrion Winfrey or DeMarvin
I like Perrion Winfrey here.
I do like Perrion Winfrey. I need to go back and watch.
I like DeMarvin layout because of his versatility, but I don't think you need that when you have Max Crosby and Yannick Ngakoue.
Yeah.
Man.
I think you need a big guy.
I'm going to go with.
I'm just gonna give you some advice. You're gonna phone a friend. Drake London's on the board right now.
Drake London's on the board. It's very tempting, but I think they're going to address receiver free agency. I'm going to go with Devontae Wyatt. I'm going to go Devontae Wyatt. That's my guy.
I would have gone with Perrion Winfrey there.
Yeah, I like it, Serge. I think you can't go wrong there.
I think they need to go interior defensive line. They could have gone interior offensive line as well. I think Zion Johnson would have been a great pick there, but I like Wyatt. I think he is a key component to really Georgia's success. He also did very well at the Senior Bowl. And I think it's a position that really will just free up Crosby and Ngakoue even more. And I think you really just can't go wrong there.
All right. I am up now with the Cardinals, who are definitely upset that Andrew Booth fell. The board's changed a lot because if we go to corners, now you have McCreary as number one, Kyler Gordon, and Elam is all the way down at 62. Kendrick, I think.
I remember when I had him as my prospect 6.
I'm gonna go Kyler Gordon out of Washington.
Ooh,
Big fan of Kyler Gordon. So Daniel Jeremiah had Kyler Gordon go high, also first round. It's so funny. We've had so many of this. Again, the same college, same position guys go in the first round.
Yeah,
it's actually crazy.
That's Washington, him and McDuffie.
Yeah. Washington have consistently pumped out good corners, and I say that only knowing Byron Murphy, but I'm just going to roll with it. I think they generally bring out some good corners. Kyler Gordon is McDuffie. He's a little bit bigger. I believe he's over 6 foot. I just want to look at. I might be completely wrong. Yeah, 6 foot. I just got it. But a big fan of Kyler Gordon. I think again, someone who's very good in man coverage, someone who's definitely one of the more versatile corners and a good tackler, and kind of has that larger frame. And again, I think McCreary would have been a great pick, but I think when I look at teams who need that cornerback one, like they have Byron Murphy, who's I just noticed is on the Cardinals. So look at that. But when I look at a team who needs kind of that cornerback one, I generally like going bigger guys. And then that, for example, if we're going McDuffie or the Eagles, definitely a smaller guy. But I think Kyler Gordon's a great pick here, but McCreary could be the pick as well. But I'm gonna go Kyler Gordon here.
I am conflicted here with Dallas because they need to replace Randy Gregory this offseason, whether that be in free agency, re-signing him, whether that be getting in someone else, or they need to get another edge rusher in the draft. I'm not going to go edge here. I'm not a huge fan of Trayvon Walker, and there's no one else that's really here. Then you look at safety. I'm tempted to take a Lewis Cine or a Daxton Hill. But I don't think I'm going to do that either. I am going to address the inside defensive line, and I'm going to go Perion Winfrey here.
Okay.
They need a run defender, and they also need someone that's able to get to the quarterback.
That's a very Cowboys pick.
It kind of gets them on both sides. Oklahoma guy, it works out for them.
Yeah, I like it. I think that's a great pick. Not much to very break down on the lower down inside defensive line, but again, a massive riser at the Pro Bowl.
I think him and Osa Duzua would be great on that defensive line. Really make the Cowboys kind of one of the more scary units in the league.
Sir, I'm gonna ask you right now, do you mind if I take this pick from you?
Sure. Yeah, sure. Why not?
I am going to go with Kenneth Walker out of
Michigan State.
Wow.
Okay.
I always do this every draft season. I take a running back in the first round. I always do. I don't know why. I honestly think the Bills, if you are a Bills fan and have not noticed yet, you don't have a run game, and it's a big reason why you lose. Okay, the Chiefs game this year, maybe not. That's not completely why. If you get Kenneth Walker, this offense will change.
But Devin Singletary just turned on.
But
yeah,
so do a lot of running backs. And again, very hot take pick. I can already hear the 18,000 chain comment of me arguing with somebody in the comments. I already know it's there right now. So I'm gonna have to go for Kenneth Walker here. Massive fan of what he brings. I think he's a really good downhill runner. And that's gonna be while Dylan travels.
Yeah, just a quick adjustment.
But I'm gonna have to go for Kenneth Walker here, and it's a very hot take pick. It's probably an awful pick to a lot of people, and it probably is an awful pick. But I'm gonna spice it up a little. Sorry, so I'm not sure how this is gonna work now.
So wait, did you have the Titans pick?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay. Then I'll just take the Titans, and I'll take the Packers, which would have been my next pick, anyways. And then you can take.
We traded.
Yeah, we just traded that one pick.
Yeah. All right.
Now you have the Titans.
Well, I just want to hear you guys think about the Kenneth Walker pick. Honestly,
I think it's a decent pick. It's not bad, but I think you could have got a guy similar to him. Like you could have got him in the second round, maybe if you're lucky. You could also get a guy like Isaiah Spiller or Breece Hall or I think they had other options.
To be honest, I don't love the pick.
It's not.
I don't expect you to. So
yeah, it's not a terrible pick though. It's not the worst. Now you have the Titans at 26, and I think they need a linebacker. But again, really deep defense linebacker class. So I think they can wait there. They could go corner here. But here's what I'm thinking. Only one receiver has been taken so far. And a lot of these guys would be great value here. I'm going to go, because I think Julio Jones is not going to be here long term. So I'm going to go with Chris Olave. Because he is my favorite. He's my favorite receiver. Not my favorite receiver. Out of the rest of the guys. Because I love Olave's route running.
He's 31 now. Wow.
And I think he's gonna be the kind of that guy, that antithesis to AJ Brown's just like jump ball. He's more of a not necessarily a jump ball guy. He's a good route runner too. But obviously Brown is a more bigger guy. I think Olave could be that guy who can operate out wide or out of the slot and kind of be that kind of drag route guy, the guy that you try to get the ball in space, which he will be, because again, he's such a good route runner. So I like Olave here. I think a lot of these receivers are great value for this area right now. Jameson Williams, he should be off the board. I think Garrett Wilson should be off the board. I think Drake London should be off the board. Even Jahan Dotson arguably could be off the board at this point. There are a lot of great receiving options right here, right now. And I think the Titans can really afford to wait for a linebacker in the second round and a cornerback in the later rounds as well. So I'm gonna go Olave here.
Dylan.
All right, I'm gonna ask
Dylan. Can I trade
again?
No, I'll let you take that if I can take Miami.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
All right, 100%.
I'm just gonna.
Wow.
Drake London and Mike Evans would be the scariest wide receiver duo in the league. That would be.
That's just like big guy. That would big be. Guy. It's just jump balls. You don't even need to be a good quarterback there.
I'm not being a very good analyst right now, but I'm just going for things.
You're just
a
fan.
Like.
That's just being a fan.
Here's something that's interesting though. You see Derek Stingley and J.C. Horn versus them twice a year.
Like that would just be.
That's football heaven.
I know. I just think we've never seen that, right? Like we've never seen two just huge red zone.
We have right now is Keenan Allen and Mike Evans.
Yeah,
Mike
Williams.
Williams.
And even then, Keenan Allen's not really. You wouldn't classify him as a massive receiver. I actually really like this. It's so funny how that's flipped. If you were to take that, like they're the team when they still had AB and Godwin, whereas like taking a receiver would make literally no sense. But again, I had them getting Jimmy Garoppolo in the offseason. Go get Drake London and give him another receiver. I love Drake London. I think he should have been taken several picks before. But big fan of this one. Not a big fan of giving the Bucks him, but I'm not being biased here. Surge called me a fan. Don't call me a fan of the Bucks. It's just
no. I was saying like just as a football fan in general, it would have been so fun.
But I'm going to ask you guys again. What do you think about that pick?
I think it's a good pick.
That's three skill players in a row.
No, I think that's
I know.
I think that's
what happens when I don't pick.
But that's but that's in general a good pick though. Because I think
I will give you this. For the talent of Drake London, for the talent of Drake London, you give talent. But position wise, is it the smartest? I think corner would be I think McCreary.
No, I think receiver is a pretty big need though.
No, but corner makes the most sense because you're losing Carlton Davis. Sean Murphy Bunting struggled with injuries. You kind of relied on the third of a leg of Richard Sherman for the end of last season. So
all right, so Surridge, you have the Packers now.
And then I get two in a row.
Yeah. I have the Packers now. I think the Packers are getting an absolute steal. Jameson Williams should not be available at 28.
It's another one.
He is coming off a torn ACL, I know. But they're expecting, with technology nowadays, the fact that he's expected to maintain his speed, this is an absolute steal. And they're just getting Devontae Adams' replacement just falling right into their lap, which they do not deserve at all. I just do not know how Jameson Williams is here available at 28 for Green Bay. And it's just a dream scenario now. They're able to replace Devontae Adams. And obviously, I'm not saying Jameson Williams will be even as close to good as Devontae Adams, but he is definitely he has the ability to be a receiver number one, which MVS didn't provide, which Alan Lazard doesn't provide. And I think this kind of just makes the Packers it gives them an element of danger on the offense that they wouldn't have if they an element.
Imagine they retain Rodgers and Adams.
Oh God. Oh, geez, that would be so scary.
I know.
But I think Jameson Williams, he is kind of the Devontae Adams replacement right here, and I think that it's a good pick because I think it makes sense just because I think the Packers are pretty set at most positions.
It also would be ridiculously scary if they got Drake London.
Oh God.
It's time to come back to earth with our next pick where we're not going to be taking a position
Look at
player.
the number one need.
First of all, it is absolutely disgusting that offensive line is not the first overall need.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Second of all, I'm not going to be taking offensive tackle. I'm going to be going interior line. I'm going to be going with Zion Johnson at the 29th overall spot. And I'll tell you why. If they weren't set in on taking an offensive lineman here, they weren't set in taking Zion Johnson specifically, they wouldn't bring in offensive coordinator that is designing run plays based on interior offensive linemen. They wouldn't hire Zion Johnson's offensive line coach as their offensive line coach. They wouldn't bring in
the BC offensive line coach.
They hired the BC offensive line coach, and I couldn't like it any more than I do. I like it a lot. And Zion Johnson, he could be making his move in as a center now. He could be playing guard. He's very versatile among those positions. I like him a lot. And I think it makes the most sense for Miami. And bringing him in there to either replace Dieter or replace potentially Austin Jackson. I know Jesse Davis is the biggest liability we've seen in a long time for any team. But I'm thinking they address that free agency.
Imagine the Bengals had the Dolphins offensive line.
Oh man.
Oh God. Also, I think the Dylan, you get back-to-back picks.
I do.
I just want to say this. I think the ideal situation here is Trevor Penning falls to 29.
It's too far down. I don't think that happens.
I know, but I definitely could see it happen.
It would that would be amazing.
All right, Dylan, you're up with the Chiefs.
All right, 30 overall. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna pick a safety here, and he's someone that's pretty far down on the safeties list.
I know who you're going with.
Is it going?
I'm going Jalen Petrie.
Oh.
Okay.
I really like Jalen Petrie.
Yeah, he had a great Senior
Great,
Bowl.
bro. Yeah,
Wow.
great Senior Bowl. Okay.
But wow,
He's
I did
someone
not
I
see
they're-
that.
think right here, if they got Devin Lloyd, that would be unfair.
I
Hmm.
don't agree.
Him and
I
Nick
think-
Bolton, that would be unfair.
They got rid of Anthony Hitchens so they can replace him in free agency. They wouldn't have cut him if they wanted to take a draft pick there. But I think Jalen Petrie here, they're probably going to lose Tyrann Mathieu in free agency, my opinion. I don't think he's going to come back. And Daniel Sorensen is another huge liability for them. So you bring in Jalen Petrie, who's someone that's got ball hawking skills. He's someone that can hit hard. He's able to roam around similarly to some of the best safeties in this class. I think he's a very good pick for them.
I like it. Is it me now?
Yeah.
I think it's me. I think
It's
you got the
Surge,
last
and then you
Okay,
get the Lions.
Then I get the Rams. All right, Surge. The
one.
10th ranked players on the board.
So
right now.
that is
I don't
true.
care.
Yeah. I don't- wait,
I think
who-
no. I
oh,
think the Bengals
yeah.
gotta go offensive line, no matter
Right.
what.
I
You
would
did
assume
you
they
did
will
the skill
push-
things
yeah.
there last time. Wait,
They
can I
will
see the offensive
They will
tackles?
push
Bernard
very
Raymond.
hard. They will push very hard for Teron Armstead.
Oh,
They will.
But I'm
Okay,
not
you
sure
wanna
if
look
they'll
at
get
tackles.
tackles.
Oh, Raymond's
first.
here. And
Raymond,
Falele's here.
Falele.
I like
go
Petit Frere.
go to guard. Go to guard. I
Rasheed
do like
Walker's
Petit Frere.
here.
I think Sean Ryan.
Sean Ryan's-
He's
I'm
there.
not- yeah,
Sailor,
Sailor is great. Darren
Kennard.
Kennard is here.
This
Parham.
is. I think this is tough. This is tough, but you got to go offensive line because I mean, last year it makes sense. Jamar Chase on the board, go for the best player available, but you do not want to turn Joe Burrow into the next Andrew Luck because he is going to be a star if he can get an offensive line. It's a tough pick here. I am going to go with. I'm gonna go with Darian Kennard. I'm gonna go with
I like
Kennard.
that.
I like
I
that.
do
pick.
like that.
I
do.
like Kennard just because of the fact that I think really with the Bengals, they do at least have their one of their tackles in Jonah Williams, who I
Mhm.
think is, I mean, he didn't play great necessarily in the Super Bowl, but he is at least somewhat competent. And I think Burrow also needs really an area to actually step up into on the interior, which he just does not have. And I think with Kennard, I think he really provides that. He's a great in zone blocking. He's decent in pass protection as well, which also will really see Joe Mixon emerge as well with this bad offensive line. And I think you got to go with the best offensive lineman available. And I think Falele was tempting, but similar. You guys were talking about offensive lineman with a big injury risk. He's like, how tall
Yeah.
is he? Like 6'?
He's 6'8", I
6'9".
think.
I think he's
Kennard?
6'9".
No,
No,
it's
Falele.
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 Because I would have been tempted to take him, but I think he's just so
no,
big.
it's like absurd. He's like 6'8". I mean, that's
yeah, I think that's
6'8", 380. Holy.
That is-
Jesus
that is injury concern. That
is ridiculous.
How is that
yeah.
possible?
How is that possible? Like,
And how
that
can
is-
you still run?
I know. It's very impressive. But I think Kennard makes sense here.
Oh,
Nah,
it's
it's
the
okay.
Lions here, not the Rams. Sorry.
Yeah.
How is that possible? Like, how he used to be a rugby player. I'm pretty sure. Like rugby, you don't even have helmets. Like imagine getting tackled by him.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
Yeah.
God.
All right.
Right.
Well, let's stop. We're not body shaming, right?
I wouldn't say
I
so.
wouldn't
No, it's
say
not
so.
body shaming. It is-
Serge, like, no. All right. Now we have the Lions, and I'm gonna go for Garrett Wilson, who somehow fell
I like
to
it.
32.
I like it.
Somehow fell to 32.
We
That's
just
criminal.
let Trayvon Walker fall out of the first round. I couldn't be more happy.
Yeah, I couldn't
agree.
be more happy. Yeah. But the fact that he fell is slightly. Garrett Wilson, who's arguably the best receiver in this class, huge fan of him.
I'm not a big fan of Garrett Wilson personally. He was the third best receiver on Ohio State last season.
Yeah, but that's
So,
where
like-
we sit with it all. We hope you guys did enjoy. And that's the mock draft. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram. We'll probably be posting a graphic with some of the best picks. And I definitely had some interesting ones. But let me know what you think down below. And I bet if you're watching this a couple days after it was posted, I'm sure there's a chain of about 38 comments in a row arguing over Kenneth Walker or one of these picks. I can tell.
Or Kyle Hamilton.
Or Kyle. Yeah,
Or Nakobe
Kyle
Dean.
Hamilton. There's one person, I forgot her name, Sarah McCoy. Always
Yeah.
on all of them. She
Okay, we don't
always
want to
said-
call out. We don't want to call.
No,
Yeah,
we're
we're not
calling you
calling
out.
out-
Please.
No,
I
no,
enjoy
no.
arguing. I enjoy
yeah.
arguing.
Not arguing, strictly speaking business. That's what
Yeah.
we call it. But
Yes.
we hope you guys did enjoy that. As always, I'm Keen McDermott. Dylan Shalom has the headset and was walking around during the video. And then Serge
Apologies. I
Kadali.
had to relocate.
Serge Kadali's one above. But many more mock drafts to come. We'll be probably doing one every week and then big board stuff. You've all heard it. And again, live stream on Sunday. Come join, talk to us. You want to argue about the picks with us when we're actually live? Please, by all means, come through and say what's up. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.